Hey, Daily Dosers. My name is Tracie, one of the pastors over at Carlsbad, and I get to share with you today about what it means to have the gospel. So because of the gospel, I am free. And I immediately thought back to a time in my life in my teens, pretty much a good portion of my teens. I lived for myself. What I didn't know was it was filling this void that I thought the world could fill. And I tried a lot and I did a lot and I lived large. And I've shared before that I tend to be one that likes to be in control. And even as a teenager, I thought, I'm in control. I've got this. It's my life. I get to do what I want to do. When I get older, the money and the wealth and the things of this world will fill me and make me happy and satisfied. And interestingly enough, I went to church every single week, but I didn't get it. And I would watch these people live that life out and talk about that. And I would think, nope, I've got it. I've got this. And over time, I continued to try to fill that void over and over again with all of those things. But when the gospel pierced my heart and I took a hold of it and I surrendered my life and said, nope, you know what? I get this now. I'm going to hand over my life and I'm going to give it to Jesus and I'm going to let him be in control and I'm going to do the things that he has called me to do. It was crazy because almost immediately in my life, I felt this, just this let go, this freedom. And what I didn't realize is the sin that I was living in and the arrogance and the pride and the filling of all the things of the world was creating this blanket of heaviness on me. And have you ever felt the weight of wet clothing or a wet blanket, or you've been wet? It's just this weight that is there. And the gospel takes the weight of that blanket of sin. And Jesus takes it. It's this exchange that he gives us, and I get to take it off, and he puts it on. And in exchange, it's this freedom. It's this amazing feeling. And this void that I didn't realize what I was trying to fill was then filled. And I love how he says it in Luke 4. I'm going to read it to you. He was in the synagogue and he was reading actually out of old prophecy. And he says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me. Get this. He says, to preach the good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom to the captives and recover sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed. And see, what I didn't know is I was a captive. I was oppressed by those things that I thought the world could fill, but only Jesus can fill those spaces in our life. He can take that pride and take it on and give us this freedom of surrender. He can take the weight of our sin and our shame and our guilt that the enemy so badly wants us to continue to carry. And he says, no, I'll take that too. And I will bear the weight of that because I want you to live in freedom. Freedom with your eyes wide open. And that's what the gospel can do for us. And my last encouragement to us is if you haven't taken that on yet, you still continue to hear the good news, or maybe this is the first time that you're seeing this series, I encourage you to go back to our Easter message that we just had and really understand what the cross can do for you, because there is such freedom. God says, take my yoke. I will exchange it freely for you. So we can all, because of the gospel, live free.